Hey guys, welcome back. It's week 4 and we are doing assignment 2. So this time around we're going to be looking at Crystal, Jared, Penny, and Cassie's work. Just want to briefly pop it up here and just take a look. We're looking at exaggerated scale, doing that both in the camera and then through compositing of images. So yeah, I'm just gonna jump right in here and we'll start with Crystal's work. Alright, so we have Barney and BJ and Baby Bop. And I'm kind of sad. I'm a little bit sad that I know who all these characters are, but I have young kids, so I have a good excuse. Alright, so here are her 7 versions here, and then we will let's just go through and look at them individually because I know she had bigger versions. So this is Barney just by himself, sort of give you a sense of the scale. And then we have, next one is BJ and Baby Bop to give you the scale of what they look like. And then there they are composited together. This is not a bad composite job. Maybe a little bit rough right on here, but overall pretty good. And she's got the right idea. Make Barney huge and the other two really small. And then there's the same one with selective desaturation. Alright, now here we have that same effect done in camera. Pretty much with these, there's a few people that kind of did this. You want to have your aperture set as high as you can get it. So if your camera will go up to f22, you want to put it at f22. If it'll go up to f32 or even beyond, I guess f64, although most cameras that we would use don't go up that high. But you want to do everything you can to get the maximum depth of field. That's sort of how you get that illusion. Otherwise, what you get is something that is that just looks like shallow depth of field. But in this scenario, Barney is the tallest thing there. That is the truth. And then there's the same one with selective desaturation. Is this? This almost looks like it's pasted in. I can't quite tell at this level, but that side just looks a little bit rough. But that might also just be the edge of the toy. And then, oh no, that is composited. And then one final one where they are tiny and he is huge. I think of the group, I would say probably the most successful version of this. Well, I do like the depth of field there, but it's not necessarily what it's about. Maybe this one. I kind of like how they're all really small. So yeah, not a bad job, Crystal. Alright. Up next, we're going to have Jared. Let's see what he's got here. A Batman Moose Yellowstone National Park mug. Yellowstone, not far from where I live, actually. Drop in little hints here. Not that you guys really care what part of the country I live in, but let's just say there's a foot of snow on my deck. I guess that's really not much of a clue either. Alright, so you have the coffee mug. That's clearly much bigger than the chapstick. This, I think, is a good way to do it, too. A lot of times when you just show the picture of the one thing, you know, for scale, it's kind of hard to tell what the original scale, what the ratio of scale is between these two. So you have the original. Alright, see, and this is a good example, too. Sorry, get rid of that. It's a good example, too, because they're both in focus, and they could both potentially be, you know, like on the same plane, even though you can still kind of tell this is closer. It is bigger than that, so he definitely did that right. There's that same thing in black and white. And okay, then this is the composite. You can see it's just slightly softer and focused than this, which is the thing that gives away. The other thing is you can see a little bit of the reflection in the coffee table that's not there. And again, I'm probably gonna get a little bit more into this, mainly because this is like my one of my areas of a lot of expertise. This can be tough. I tend to avoid. You can either avoid like any kind of thing that's going to reflect like that, or you can do what he did in the last image, where you don't really see the tabletop as much. The other thing is you can actually reverse this. You can make a copy of it, reverse it, and paste it down here, and then just lower the opacity until it starts to look like this. Maybe put a little Gaussian blur on it. But that is a lot of effort to get this. The easier way is simply to have a matte background. But on a lot of these, you do, especially if you're starting off, you want to get your maximum depth of field, because sort of being slightly in a different focus than this does tend to make that look, it's a little bit of a giveaway. And I think it does look a little bit better in color, because you get slightly more of the contrast, just the natural contrast that color brings, makes it look slightly sharper than that. But yeah, I do like that effect. So you definitely did that right. And then there's one separate. Oh, and you can see too here. So the thing to do is maybe, try and recreate that slight reflection in the tabletop. And you probably can't just straight up copy that, because these little details like the grain and like the little lines in the wood are not going to match up really well. But yeah, nice job on this, I think. Certainly that one, because I think that's the best illusion of the bunch. But you have the right idea. You did all the steps correctly. Nice work. All right. Up next, we are going to look at Penny's work. We have this. I do like this image quite a bit. Whatever. Just let it go through that step. It's going to keep coming up. So we have the water tower. Pop it down here, and the water tower in infrared. I feel like that's the infrared. I do like that. I like that effect a lot too, because again, it reminds me of, as I said in an earlier video. Maybe not all of you saw that one, but it does remind me of less of the infrared look, although this is definitely new with this tree here. But more of like back in the day, we would put a red filter on the camera when shooting black and white film, because it would make a blue sky turn like fairly black like this, and then whatever like other elements were against it would look a lot lighter, and it's a really pretty dramatic effect. All right, and then we have one of these guys, which seems like I'm trying to remember, from the autobiography section, people were talking about this. A sugar glider, maybe, or flying squirrel, I don't know. Something like that. And then again, same guy in, I'm thinking infrared. There's another guy. That's maybe like this little flash effect on there. And I do like that. I think that's really pretty fun and pretty funny. Yeah, my only thing would be, if it had been possible to get these guys, shoot them out in the daylight rather than with flash, the lighting tends to blend a little bit. The other thing you can do is sort of come in and do a little local correction, sort of open some of these shadows up a little bit, and maybe just throw a slight bit of yellow into the whole thing. You know, sort of play with the color balance to get the sort of the lighting effect of this to match the lighting effect of that. Having said that, I thought that was really funny. Somehow it makes me think of King Kong, like climbing to the top of the Empire State Building. Very fun effect. So the only thing I'm not seeing here, Penny, is a one where you use forced perspective. You know, where you had the, you know, maybe you take one of these guys and simply like have them physically closer to the camera, yet in the same scene as this water tower. So yeah, that's the one part I'm not seeing here, but I do really like that composite. It makes me laugh. Oh, nice work. And then last but not least, let's look at Cassie's here. Again, I like it. This is tough because this definitely is, you know, appears to be bigger, did it in camera. but having something this close to the camera, it's really hard to get it in focus and also have this in focus. You need a really small aperture. The other thing is maybe just back this up enough that it's, you know, like it's sitting right here, so it's still a little taller than the hammer, but not so much so. Is that hammer actually there? It kind of looks like it's composited in. But if they're all in focus, you can sort of trick the viewer a little bit more in there. That just does. I'm just not entirely sure. That looks a little bit. The fact that it doesn't have a shadow, although it's not sitting up against the wall, but there's something about it that looks like it's composited in there. Okay, so it is composited in. Okay. So yeah, I thought so. There's something about, I think what was cluing me in was the fact that it's a lot sharper than the background. So you got your hammer, you got your screw, got your hammer and screw, you're getting composited. Alright, so I'm not seeing then, I guess one where you did this in camera, because these both are composited. But again, like on this one, it actually looks more like it's not blurry because it's close to the camera, it's blurry because there's a little bit of camera movement here. So definitely like a tripod or something would fix that. I do like this. This also does look a little bit stretched top to bottom, like maybe use some transform on it. And again, same thing with Jared's. You do always have to be mindful of that. But I'm probably being overly. I feel like I'm maybe being overly critical on you guys because this is, for a lot of you, your first time doing this effect. And I tend to do this quite a bit. I would say, I mean, really, I'm not even trying to criticize you guys. Just give you tips on, like, if you had fun with these and you were to do more of them, like what you could do to make it more realistic. Yeah, but I definitely like this idea. It's like this bizarre giant screw next to a hammer. Okay, so your word of the critique to let me know that you watched the entire thing is cardinal, which is you can think of it either as the Catholic religious rank figure. I don't know, I'm not Catholic. Or you can think of it as the red bird, either one. So CARDNINAL. Just type it in. Your spell check on your computer, I'm sure, will alert you. Alright, well, nice work, guys, and I will see you on the next one.